And the Bible reveals that family relationships are important to him.
But as a believer, do you feel that you are still struggling?
Maybe you're still struggling with your relationship,
Struggling with your finances?
struggling at work,
With your social life?
or with your spiritual life.
We invite you to join us
On our Family Table Talk every Saturday.
at 7:30 a.m. on My TV.
Or catch us on our Facebook page.
Bulavinaka, Eandra Vinaka, Eandra Maleka. It's another Saturday morning, and welcome to the Family Table Talk Show. So we would like to welcome all of you. And I know most of you may be just hearing our voices, but you're just too sleepy and tired to even watch and open your eyes. And also greetings to those of you that have to go to work on Saturday morning. So it's no different from any other day. And you're up and about and maybe on your way to the office already. And some of us, like for me this morning, I struggled to stand up in bed and also struggled to be sitting here. You know, some morning you just want to really slip it in. And some people have a choice. Some of us, we don't have a choice. So we would like to welcome you yet again on another Saturday morning to those of you that have been following the programs, not only from Fiji, but also from abroad, as and when we get to meet you when we travel. So we would like to stay under Vinaka. Bulavinaka.
Mula tu kan weekend na baru matu mai jalan ni abu so sana ini kawan non Banua Dolovina Arnandra bulare bulasia malo ambula awam bula tu kan ni nabi korkoro so weekend ano tu kan matakan di kuah baru matu mai nomu wireless platform sana screen karo sabang bula tu kan ni turaki na studio Ortu set up na matakan isi kani kuah sama kami nak tuku kina na tu bingarabi tu kortu na engineer bingarabi and my TV and matakan isi kani dai wa ambula tu kani bikin na sa pagarato doko weekend na may bonolya bura ramba bula sia bikin tu may kandawu na may biti ni bula binaka matakan isi kani dai doon mataka binaka doon mataka bow magdua talan singabo samba di tigabu undong na bulo November na pala isarangango sa ating utal tu na Disyemba sa siro talitu o talitu na 2023 kung na kerubang bulat tu kaya na singa pinaka ni kuha so magkarangunti topoy topay babakaw saparaki gulong-gula siya panikeke siya umong magito ka tabo-tombe ka so auto so tapioke kero sabang ang bulat tu kaya and matagan ni Signinday. For those of you non Itoke speakers that you normally tune into this program, we are taking this time to say Ambula Binaka to all of you that are connecting, whether you're listening from urban areas and towns and cities, or you are watching all the way from rural. We take this time to say good morning. Have a wonderful Saturday as we greet you from here. Yeah.
And also to those of you in America and England on the different time zones. So it's your afternoon way out there in America. Maybe you're doing your shopping or going around. And it's your afternoon on Friday, I believe. Yeah. And, you're tuning in this morning, listening to us. So we would like to say, Yandra Binaka, and thank you. I know sometimes you may miss Fiji, for those of you that are outside Fiji, because there's no place like home. Fiji is such a beautiful place. It's a great place to live in. And even when you leave the foreshores of Fiji and you enjoy, the goodness of all other country, but, in your heart, nothing beats home. And Fiji is home for most of us. And it's still beautiful. Time have changed, the world has evolved into another level. And it doesn't leave Fiji behind. So Fiji is also changing with everything that is changing. But it's such a good feel because when you look out, you see your relatives, you see, it's like a big family living in a small island. So we would like to welcome all of you, and also to England on the different time zone, or maybe tuning in from Cyprus to Romania. Auntie Milika and her team, also greetings to those of you. Auntie Ili, Prasad, all the way in Cyprus. And not forgetting Northern Ireland and Germany. So to those of you that have been following the program, another Bulavinaka. And we have been speaking at length on the few Saturdays on the health, our relationship, the living habits, because we can talk about health on how we can get that fixed, but it's living right and maintaining that continuously, sustain you and also help you, because you can go to the doctor today, get medication or get insurance coverage for that and pay less to go and see your doctor, but it doesn't last until and unless you make those changes to your lifestyle or your eating habits to help you to maintain and sustain your good living. Well, there's been a lot of topics that we've been covering, but that I've been reading the papers this week is on the sexually transmitted diseases. And I don't know, maybe some of you write-up that was being circulated. And I get the opportunity to watch that. I think my husband forwarded to me when I read that, like the actual things that are happening. And people don't want to talk about these things. But it's always nice to bring it back and be reminded and discuss it openly, because these are the taboos to talk about. But I believe that we need to, because in the Eat Okay culture, there are certain things. No, it's there, but we keep it there. And you know very well that it's creating problems or creating a lot of things at home, but you never touch it, because out of respect and out of, like, you don't want to disturb the waters. You just leave it as the way it is. And that's certain things that we don't want to talk about sex. We don't want to talk about the problem that it brings. We don't want to talk about this rape, and most of these rape cases race, but it's most and a lot of mostly, is it okay? And we don't want to talk about those things. About what make them do those things, and what are the contributing factors, what are the things that we can do to help curb or stop these things that are happening. We may not be able to, at least when you openly talk about it, we may reduce these cases. So we don't talk, we don't want sex, we don't want to talk about extramarital affairs. We know that it's happening, but we don't want to talk about it. And it happens. The that lives in the village, or to those who do not, or uneducated, who don't go to work or have a secular job. Extramarital affairs, affect whether you're sitting right in the house or right down to a nobody that you were just living in the village. Extramarital affairs, it's happening everywhere, but nobody wants to openly because it's a taboo subject. Like, it's happening, but they don't want to touch it. And we also have cases like when it came out in the papers of prostitution. There are, young ladies that are standing on the streets and getting about it. They don't have to stand on the streets. They are called away. It's like organized. Even some ladies with white look so pretty during the day, but they also belong to the, that a kind of a record that they do prostitution. Because when you actually look at the whole thing, most of these things are from the love of money. Because you want extra cash that you don't have. Maybe your normal income is not meeting your bills. Without you knowing, you get involved with this kind of, activities that you never planned that you would be one day, be part of it. So, and also in the largest number of men that actually, go out and solicit these women are married men. And people don't want to talk about it. It's like a taboo. Okay, leave it on. You know it's happening, but you don't want to disturb it. You don't want to tap on it. And those are the few things that I want to highlight this morning. That we don't want to talk about it. Kita sedih bibitan lo tak na bika baka na baka balata na non dabula baka bibikani se and the reni kenda kaya sangini nganita me davitan lo tak. Programo ni mata bubale levo na bikang go ya balata tiko na bulin mata bale balata ni programo ni mata bubale kirobe ko tamay na ulutanga na ulutanga me davitan lo taka bakararamba meron ni buke kina na non dabula buke na non de tiko buke na mata bubale mana kor na bikango isang nindo yado se yado ni non de kor yang go saya de chikakina and the sanga ni ibinakatwenda tukuna isatiko akwaya eseng tabi ni tubutubo na bosivir na lubenra O baka mo te keda rin daka daka bata. Kero tiko do na sang sangaloto. Na bi programa e daka na loman sang sangaloto kero to valea. Me baka dila bikina so baka bubuli se baka nana no ro bu kekina na mbula ni mata bubale. Se bu kekina na mbula ndo se na non rambula na tambangone. Kau baka mota ni binaka me David tan lotaka. Talk about it because you may be listening to us this morning and maybe we are saying out or speaking out exactly what is in your heart, in your mind, that you won't be able to, to say it out because you cannot speak out. So maybe we are speaking on your behalf. So it's a good thing to talk about it.
When we talk about kuna kake dea tetskina, we don't want to talk about it. When it comes to rape, extramarital affairs, standing on the street, what else? Maybe this has got to do with the sexual relationship. Balata ni wakai tambu kendo mandangan na turang ang balata no na itutu dona tangan dona turang dona itutu no na itutu ba kay na lomtiko na itutu babanwa ke ba kay bakalubeni tiko tiko no tina changi bakalubeni sinde
okay chiga
iya ba kame okay tu iya balata ko ni bitalo kenda na numa ni unan da bitalo taka kine kambe se da bitalo taka na kudu me baka da bonita ka me kunige lorai
we don't want to talk about it.
And this is the problem that we are facing now. Because we don't want to talk about it. Au na numa sara na matay ni BMN conference kama and a gym back in 2009. Awang ke posakina and a man in the bedroom Ele busaranga ni taltala ura griteo mai bakara bata ni openly mental no take. Ni go tu da buta ni kuah. Klay remind me na iru mandanga na tal kero friend. Klay regir mai. Pakai saka pakai situ dun motal. Balta saranga. Kenta sali kenta ko tu non dei tobo non da viva karo bamonwa. Sali ya kenta sini obici sa sini wili tunga menduanga na bura-bura tonga. Senga. Kenta sa komunitu na na bura-bura lebu. Kenta sa mendo tonga na koro. So tu mo Selandia. Kembali na lenga, and then doon may vital no taki na awareness vital no taki. Balik ka maganda na siya ni mga itabi. Iya kanta na lenga. Turman na rip na rip siya ato sarang nangunang ko, merasa rip ti kukurin na teenagers, sigura kalalay sara. Ang bakit diwa, ang bakit sini.
The rape, not only ti ko maybe rangon lalalay sara, sarang na biyang ono sa ngabulan, bakit sa ngabulan. No, rape cases not only like what we used to think before, like in your 20s, in your 30s, when your sex drive is there, I believe. But very early for boys and also to old men, like in their 70s and in their 60s. Boy, still happening. And, well, that goes back to the fact that we've been sharing when we say that we went to this family conference. There was an international family life conference that we went to in Australia. And that's one thing that I took from that conference, and I've always shared it. The 5 important things to a woman and the 5 important things to a man. And not only that, the 50-50. The life that you live, you bring to your marriage, you need to offload 50% of what you are or what you have brought in, and your husband or your spouse to also offload 50%. They become one and work, which means you need to review the way that you live your life and find a way for you people to agree. And a lot of things that we learned from that conference. But one thing that I really took it away because I can see the relevance of it. I can see that it's relatable to our living, our what's that? The man, their first priority is sex. Number 1 in their life is sex. Whatever they do is sex oriented. And for a woman, their number 1 is companionship, which means we would like to have a discussion, have a talk. That's why ladies hang out for coffee, because when they don't get it from their spouses, they go looking out for it. And I believe that's why they go together, women and friends, because they need that kind of talk.
Fellowship.
But that companionship, a woman expect from a man, which means if we meet and if we sit, I'm a talker. and I will be talking and make our coffee. It can be 2-3 rounds of coffee, and we'll continue to talk. I'll get him to talk, and because that's the the woman. Their number one is sex, which means you cannot deny the fact that every man, regardless whether they're young or old, their number one is sex. Maybe when they're still young, it's control, because they're still living at home, very controlled, but it's there. Something that has been identified scientifically.
Yeah, the drive is there,
Yeah.
but the control, it will come out very early.
Yes.
And that's why when they see things that are happening, or pornography, or all these things trigger what is already there.
In there. Yeah. And then it takes us to the, I don't know, headline on the paper. I think I show it on a headline of a newspaper when it says primary school students.
Yes.
They are practicing sex, or it was the headline, and that's primary school age. So meaning they may have seen something or something with them. I mean, they didn't just one way and said, okay, let's practice. Let's try to practice what sex is. It wouldn't just come out of the blue or of the. So they must have been exposed either to a movie or pornography or something that they've seen to make them, to bring their idea to their mind for them to actually go and look out for those things. Back to the thing that we want to talk about, as always on the Family Table Talk, the things people don't want to talk about, is the sex drive in a man. That may, as the husband, he goes looking out for it. Either two things he does. Either he has extramarital affairs with another woman, maybe in their workplace or maybe otherwise, or scholars and all others. And the second, if they don't want that extramarital, they go to the street, to satisfy them. And for the rape cases that we've been reading in the papers, it's very, I would say, it's very disturbing, because before we hear cases of, a woman walking on the street and got raped, or, like this person doesn't even know this person for that to happen. But now the sad case, these people, they know each other.
They are related.
It's like a grandfather, raping a granddaughter, or it's like
father, son.
Yeah, like
daughters.
A father raping the daughters, and even the girls are as young as babies. Some of them are babies, and it's very disturbing. It's uncomfortable for you to even read it and think, boy, how can that happen? And I've just read a case like a brother. They are brothers, and even raping this, the sister-in-law. I read was the father raping the son's girlfriend. So the cases are very disturbing, and if we look at the same thing and say, how this person is really sick, we'll say that. But we need to step back and ask ourselves and say, what causes? What is the drive that make them do this kind of thing? And so it can either be drugs, because it takes away their common sense, for them to look at things that, like. So it's either, or they are into this pornography that they are driven, and it's in their mind, and whatever that they see, in the situation, in the wrong place, and that thing just come out.
When we know the Bible, all these are time, So when people say,
that's an thing when you say demonic, because it's inhuman.
It's
Yeah.
not natural.
Yeah.
And now men are raping boys. So things are getting like the rape cases and extramarital affairs, people living with children and go. Now most of the time, it's both are married, like
just to be responsible for your family.
Like it's no longer there,
Yeah.
and that's why drunkenness is part of this. You properly. for us, when we read this kind of news of raping, that's inhuman and it's crazy.
Yeah.
It takes somebody that is out of his mind.
Yeah.
It's not normal. So this is where the drunk comes in.
Yeah.
And always, why you do that? I was drunk.
Yeah.
And
Just
just,
in the correct state of mind.
yeah, 2 days ago, it was headline in one of the local newspaper that St. Giles went through 7,000 cases of mind. So all these things, they are contributing factors. There you have the demonic working, and also we have the social. It's so common, and people are just like they just go there to set them free from anything.
Yeah.
This go back to the Bible time when they say sex and orgy,
Yeah.
no? And so we are in a very, very challenging time.
Yeah, I think some of the things that also drive them to this kind of, like when they go into those kind of stuff, or you can actually pick out the lack of maturity. Like people are very childish and selfish. They're not mature inside or mature in the term of thinking for them to make the right decision. And this childishness or self-centeredness, we can blame it, just the way they live their life. Like it's not, they don't have a good foundation, and then goes back to home, to us as family. These are the repercussions of a shaky family. Because you come from a home that you hardly see or hear your dad good behaviors, or how your parents respect each other. You don't witness all those things. So however you grow up and the things you've been exposed to, it defines you living. So you go looking for the same thing, and you go punching up women or women, doing the same as well. Just if you grow up in a house that your mom is hardly at home, before it used to be just also absent mothers. Just leave your children at home, or somebody else to come and look after them. It can be well justified, like you're going to work, or you're going to church, or wherever you go, but you are actually leaving behind children that don't have any, So when they grow up, they thought that was normal, and they go and do exactly the same. All they do is have a roof above their head, and I believe that's why most marriages doesn't work, because they live on the legacy that is left by their parents, and this keep on rolling, and there is no stop to it until that person something new, and then say no, that's the wrong way of living, like what we said, we are talking about things, we are saying that, we don't understand all these things. But this is a family table talk. We would like to talk about anything and everything that actually affects family out there. I will always say, like I actually have in our church, Mondays, it's our leaders training. So every time I stand up to do administration, I'm always bringing out something on the family. And I'm always, this ministry is to find time to look after your family. Apart from God that you serve, you need to take your family as your priority. And we allocated that no church function, no nothing. Stay home, talk to your children, engage with your children, and love your family. And that's one thing that I've always emphasized. Because I believe everybody has got, and that you are actually, disintegrating a nice family, a family that's supposed to grow up together, love each other, and enjoy each other's company, become individuals looking out for their own satisfaction, and the house or the home no longer becomes the home, but becomes the house. And that's one thing that my grandson taught me. I didn't realize life was beginning to be like that. I knew that I was away from home nearly most of the time because I'm either in the office or doing church things. It happens when you have nowhere to go and every place is closed, so you're stuck at home. And that is why I'm always thanking God for COVID, because it helped me as a mother, as a grandmother, and as that my children see and say, that's my mom. Or my grandchildren will look at me and say, oh, that's my nana. And also I have the time to be my wife and stay home. We did a lot of things during COVID. We learned how to bake everything. It was just a good time. And in one of our devotions, and we always have this opportunity that everybody says something. You know, you have to say something. So Joshua, my grandson, spoke up. It came to him. What he said, it really lingers, you know, like it really stays with me. And it becomes a reminder to my life. As and when I tour, I'm always reminded by what Joshua said. And in his gratitude speech, when he was saying it, and then he said, really, as a family, and like during COVID, we get to bake together, we cook together, we bake cookies, we bake cake, we do roti and curry. And he said, because at one stage, our home, the house, you know, he said, really stays with me. He said, because at one stage, our home was just like a house. Everybody just passing through. People who come to work, for us who come from school, we are just passing through. And the only moment we can eat, or when we have our devotion, or when we have to go to church. Other than that, this place or this building and not a home. And I thank God for COVID that has made our home a home. That I'll never forget. It reminds me as a grandparent, it reminds me as a mother, that I need to make the house a home. And that house can only be a home when you are together we do things together, and happiness, that joy, you know, that engagement, just doing things together. It doesn't cost money. Just staying together, say anything, laugh together, cry together, pray together, anything, but do it together. Then it makes that house being a home. Because sometimes we say to ourselves, okay, I'm paying for the rent, or I'm paying for the mortgage for that house. I've got you people a car for the family so you don't have to walk or count the post or go and look for the bus. Provide food. So we are always using that at times to justify our absence from home. I believe that this is time for you to relook. Children, they need to hear from you, even though they're not showing that they're hearing or they're listening to you, or they listen well, or they're going to follow what you say. But it goes a long way. When they are somewhere, the very teaching, the very counsel that you spoke years back will always come back because they'll capture it in their heart.
Yeah, if we talk about, the more we come together, the more we discuss, it will bring that homely body, it will bring that unity. Like you can't wait to go home when you finish with your work or whatever you do. You just can't wait to go home because of that atmosphere that is very rare to feel or to see in home. And I believe that's why young going out, venturing out, social gathering or sports, people are going out because they cannot learn to house a home or to make a home a home. And that's why we can't wait to go out. We can't wait to go to our social gathering as a Tikina, as a Sana. We spend very little time at home. And home is like a house or like a hotel. And when the attack of the evil one or demonic, when attack on relationship, it's because to devotion, those are some foundation. Some people, they sit together. They have a lot of time just sitting together. They play together. So these are ways of bonding, mending. So if any attack from the evil one, from demonic, we're talking about sex. Because sex is a topic that we are talking on. Now we are only talking on the surrounding. Last week when we talk about the HIV, few months ago we were published in the newspaper 260% increase of HIV. Eh? HIV is we talk about as a family. This disease can only be transmitted through sex.
Yeah.
That means 160 means there is a lot of fornication. Fornication is having sex before marriage. See? And this is where this HIV spread. Or extramarital affairs. The reason why it's increasing because of sex. This only be transmitted through sexual activities. So if it's increased to